Vector databases. I'm sure if you are somebody who is curious about AI or trying to learn tech, this is a term that you would have definitely come across. And in this video, we will understand what it is from the very basics. Hi, my name is Muskan. I'm an ex-software engineer at Amazon, quit it to build my own AI native agency, Cherry Media. And in this channel, we talk about everything around AI, tech, career, and I try to break down topics in the easiest possible manner for you to understand. Let's understand vector databases. Right now, the smartest AI tool, ChatGPT, just remembers who you are. If you listen to music on Spotify, it just knows your song choices, sometimes even better than you do. And the strange part is that it is not some complicated AI model, it is something sitting underneath it that nobody can actually explain. And once you see it, you will actually start noticing it everywhere. And that, my friend, is vector databases. Give me 7 minutes and I will explain it to you from the very basics. Now let's answer the first question. Why you should even care about vector databases? Everybody is talking about AI agents, ChatGPT that remembers you, RAG, search, etc., etc. But nobody actually understands or explains the plumbing underneath all of it. You would actually understand all of these buzzwords and it will not overwhelm you. Now let me start with an explanation with a very good example. Imagine you build a help bot for your company, a bot that has all the documents for your particular company. HR policies, project guides, almost everything that anybody would need. And you want that whenever employees are stuck, they can just go to the bot and ask their questions. Sounds very simple, right? Just dump the questions in the database and actually query and get answers. But you know where it falls apart? Normal database actually searches for exact words. It's basically a supercharged control F. Let's assume you are an employee and you ask, how many paid leaves do I get in a year? And in your HR policy document, it is not written as paid leaves, it is written as annual time off. The database shrugs and actually did not give you any output. The meaning is same, but because the keywords or the exact words are different, it does not return anything. But just imagine that human actually went to the HR and asked the same question. They will not reply with anything. Us as humans actually understand that paid leaves, annual time offs, or taking a vacation is actually the same thing. But computers by default do not understand that. And the gap, searching by words versus searching by meanings, is the exact reason why vector databases exist. Now the question arises, but how do you even teach computers to understand meaning? Here is the trick and I will make it stupidly simple for all of you. Think about color for a second. Every color is actually the mixture of RGB, that is red, green and blue in different proportions. And here's the useful part. Two colors that look alike have numbers that are close together. Sky blue and ocean blue sit right next to each other, but bright red is far away from both of them. So just by comparing these numbers, a computer can actually tell that which two colors are similar without ever seeing anything. Vector databases do the exact same thing for meaning instead of just color. A special AI model reads a word, sentence, or even an image and turns them into a long list of numbers, usually hundreds of them. That list is actually called a vector or an embedding. And you know where the real magic is? How these things are numbered. Things that are actually similar gets similar numbers. So paid leave, vacation time off or annual paid leave land in the same range of numbers. And a word like pizza ranks way across the down. So now the computer isn't actually reading words, it's measuring the distance between their meaning. Now the next question is, what does a vector database even do? A vector database actually has one job, which is store all these numbers in a list, and the moment you ask something, it instantly finds something closest to the meaning. Let's go back to our company board example. Now again an employee asks, how many days off do I get? Now that question becomes a vector as well. Now the vector database does not search for the exact word. It finds the exact neighbors in the meaning space and actually pulls back the annual leave policy with zero matching keywords. And all of this happens within millions of documents within a fraction of a second. And this is the whole superpower and work of a vector database. Search across millions of documents for meaning very, very fast. Now let's talk about the killer use case of vector databases, which is RAG, that is Retrieval Augmented Generation. I know you must have heard this jargon a lot of times, so forget about it. I'll explain it to you very simply with the help of a use case. Just imagine your team hired somebody who is extremely smart and has like done a lot of good things, and you ask them something very specific about a project that you guys are working on. What do you expect? Will they actually be able to answer? And even if they answer, what is the probability that they would be right? Because they have no context about your company. Now, what if you just give them your chatbot or the help bot that you created and ask it that before answering me, go ahead, ask this help bot your questions and then answer me? Which scenario do you think that the new hire will give you the correct answer? Obviously, the second one, because he knows about the company now. When they will actually search in the help bot, they are including their knowledge with the information that that help bot gave him. The AI is the clever new hire, and the vector database is the filing cabinet that in flash, in a split second, actually gives it the exact file that is needed to give the right answer. The AI then answers using real information rather than just guessing or worst, hallucinating and giving wrong answers. That is why RAG is such a big deal, and vector databases are the ones doing the looking up. And I'm sure once you will know about this concept of vector databases, you will start spotting it everywhere else. Let me give you another example where you must have come across this. So all of us use Spotify to listen to songs, right? How come Spotify gives us the exact songs that we want to listen to? If I'm sad, it will give me all the sad songs. If I'm happy, or it just knows my vibe, it just knows my taste. Because your taste becomes a vector that is ran through millions of song vectors, and that is how it just knows that which song will you like based on probability. And similar thing works on Netflix. How come you watch one movie and then Netflix recommends you the exact movies that you want to watch, because your taste or the movie that you've actually clicked on becomes your taste, and it runs through millions of other movies that are saved as vectors. And you know, a very important use case is in fraud detection. A lot of right transactions or things that are similar to each other actually get clustered together, whereas a fraudulent transaction or a transaction which is not normal actually sits very away because their number is different, and that is how you can actually catch a fraudulent transaction. The pattern is always identical: turn data into numbers that capture meaning and then find what is the nearest. Recommendations, search, matching, detection, everything have same engine underneath. Now, if you are somebody who want to learn about vector databases, or if you have an interview lined up where you might be asked about this, here is how you can start with it. To experiment it on your laptop, you can start it with Chroma. It's extremely beginner friendly, and you can have something working within a few hours. If you're already using Postgres, there's an extension called PG Vector that adds this straight to the database that you already know. And when you are ready for production, managed options like Pinecone or open source tools like Quadrant and Weaviate handle the heavy lifting. One free tip that I would like to give you to save you from a lot of headache: before you store these big documents, actually break them into chunks, because size matters a lot. If it is too big, the results will get vague, and if it is too small, it will actually lose context. A paragraphish chunk with a little overlap is a solid starting point. If you do this right, the results will actually jump out. So that's it. With that, we come to an end of this video about vector databases. TLDR, instead of matching keywords, you match meaning by turning everything into numbers and finding whatever is the closest. If this video actually made this concept click, please do me a favor and like, share and subscribe to this channel, and also share this video with that one friend that is trying very hard to learn AI and actually break into tech, because I'm sure that they will find this video very helpful. So let me know in the comments below what other topic do you want me to break down, and I would be more than happy to create a video on that. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Like, share and subscribe. Bye bye.